What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Well, I put a video out labeled "Are Vegans Hypocrites?" And of course, it riled up some of the vegans, which kind of obviously I knew that was going to happen. But that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to get discussions going and to get people thinking outside the box. Now, it did lead a bunch of vegans to calling me names, which that's what a lot of people do. They resort to calling you names and shit, which I get it. You know what I mean? I get it 100%. I insulted them and I deserve to be called names and stuff, but at least they're thinking now. They're thinking a little bit different. And people that might have seen that video and read comments and stuff on it, whatever case may be, might be thinking differently too. Now, the whole point of that video really was Megan Fox and her husband teaching their kids that plants have thoughts and emotion, or feelings and emotions, right? And that's why they want to send them to this school. And the whole reason why they don't eat animals is because of the animals' feeling and emotions. That was the whole point. It was really calling her and her husband hypocrites rather than vegans in general. But of course, I go on a tangent, and that's just kind of what I do. It's my thing. Now, a lot of vegans kind of attack me back, going, Jerry, like the big thing was they don't have a brain and they can't sense that there's pain. This is not proven, that's not proven. Like, okay, like everything that I say, they can find something to rebut it. Everything they say, I can find something to rebut it. Period. That's just all there is to it. There's always information that goes back and forth. Now, my thing is, the vegans say that they don't have sentiment. They don't understand what's going on. Plants may be living, and we shouldn't value all living things. I think that is a false statement. We should value all living things. If you think you shouldn't value all living things because one thing is cute and might understand that you're petting it and it's nice, but that plant that's over there doesn't have sentiment to it, so therefore you should just not give a shit about it whatsoever. That's like saying insects. Do insects have feelings? Do insects feel pain? Do they have, like, what? Where do you draw that line? And I think that vegans, honestly, by the definition, if they care so much about living things, and then they go just for animals, and I'm like, well, that's not really a living things thing. It's just animals, right? You don't give a fuck about. You'll kill anything else that's living. You don't give a shit, but just as long as it's not an animal, right? And then they get a little iffy about that, and you're like, I'm not busting balls. I'm asking you a serious question. And you literally say, kill every living thing. I don't give a shit, but just leave these cute little animals that I think are awesome alone. Which to me goes, that's a very strange way of living my life. Saying, Buddhists, for instance, believe that all living things are created equally. Bugs, plants, people, birds, which are not animals or plants, fish, they believe everything is created equal, right? Whereas vegans are just like, no, animals are, I don't even know if they can consider animals are our equal. Because technically, if you're a vegan, I mean, let's be 100% real. If you're a vegan and you have a dog and you care so much about animals, I get the fact that that's your pet, you love it, etc. Don't you look at it as like kind of like a thing of slavery? Like that dog should be free running out there, right? He should be happy, right? Kind of look at it like that. I'm not saying everybody does. I'm saying you could look at it that way. And that's the part of what I'm trying to say. There's so many different ways of looking at things that vegans kind of narrow in on, not all, but narrow in on these certain things. And no matter what you say, they deflect it because they're so hell-bent on their view, which may not necessarily be a real view. It's something that has been created for that vegan lifestyle, that lifestyle in general. Now, there are plants, which vegans don't want to hear this either, that not only can feel pain and are conscious of it, but they have self-defense mechanisms when they get scared. They feel fear. There are plants that when certain insects or people get near them and they feel the vibration, they get scared, they actually secrete a poison. And this poison actually smells a certain way, and humans usually can't smell it, but insects and other animals can smell this poison that plant secretes when they get too close to it to know not to go near it. So that plant that they are deeming not sentient, it doesn't know, it doesn't feel pain, it doesn't know pain exists, it doesn't really know, it may have a nervous system, not a central nervous system, but a nervous system, but it can still feel fear when something is going to hurt it or kill it or attack it or eat it, and then excrete a poison. We have the Venus flytrap, which can physically feel when that bug actually lands in there and it snaps closed, and the friggin' plant is actually a carnivore and actually eats living things. So it's like, for me, I kind of look at it all as like vegans just go plant-based, plant life, plant this. That's not accurate, right? You're picking and choosing certain things. You're not about all plants. You're not all about all plant life, etc., stuff like that, right? So my thing is, when we really sit down and break it into pieces, right? If you're going to say the difference between eating an animal and eating a plant is sentient, right? What that means is basically the plant is not aware that you're eating it. It may be able to feel pain, may be able to feel happiness. We've got those studies where you play music for the plant and it flourishes. You play some kind of crazy heavy metal and it wilters. Like it can hear, it can feel vibration, right? And everything, a lot of vegans don't even know this, but everything in the world has a vibration. And different vibrations get to other vibrations that don't match, and those vibrations can feel it. You get next to somebody who vibrates at a lower frequency than you do, you can feel it. It repels you. It's like putting two of the same magnets together. It pushes away. The opposite attracts. The two together, it pushes away. It repels you. When you get near something that has a similar vibration that you do, it attracts you. You're attracted to that person, right? So there's a lot more that goes on into this other than what vegans look at as animals. My question to this vegan, the other day was, he said, well, Jerry, it's just all about sentiment. Like the animals know it. And they I said, okay, well, let me just ask you this, right? So you're telling me a plant doesn't know when you're going to eat it. It doesn't know that it's in danger. You cut it off at the fucking stalk, you pit it up, and you fucking eat it, right? And it has no clue that that's what's going on. And you think that's okay. And they're like, yeah, because it doesn't know. It has no sentiment. It doesn't really know what's going on. So therefore, it's okay to eat it. So I'm like, okay, what if there's a cow in a field? He's doing his cow thing, and he's fucking grazing, and his friends are out there in the field with him in the pasture. And that cow's like, all right, Joe, I'm going to head back to the farm. I'll catch you tomorrow, Joe. All right, Bill, we'll catch you tomorrow. Bobby, be good, man. And that cow's just chilling out, and he doesn't even know anything's going on around him. He's hanging out with his friends. But a human came up behind him that he does not know was there and put a fucking bullet directly in the back of his head and killed him that he never saw coming. He never felt, and his fucking life ended like that. There was no fear. There was no torture. There was no pain. There was a clean kill. Like that, immediately. That cow had the same experience as that plant that we were talking about, right? It doesn't know that it was going to be killed. It wasn't hurt. It wasn't harmed. It was immediately killed, and that was it. It didn't even know it was coming. It felt nothing. Now, that cow technically didn't have any sentiment towards it. Didn't know anything. It had no idea. It had no concept that it was going to be killed. It had no idea what was going on. Does that make it okay now to kill that cow? No, and they get all pissed off. I'm like, right, but you just said the sentiment, because plants don't feel things and they're not aware, it's okay to do it. But if you can go up to an animal and it's not aware that you put a fucking bullet in its head and it ceases to exist with no pain and is completely unaware of that, you think that is different than the other one. Yes. And I'm just like, fuck, in my head, I'm just sitting there going, I honestly feel like many people, I'm not saying just vegans alone, many people could take something, they could twist it and turn it and make their own thing out of it to where they can make it fit whatever agenda that they want it to be. They can literally make it fit any storyline. They can do whatever they want to fit whatever they want out of it. And when you show them something the opposite, they freak the fuck out and say it's not like that because XYZ, right? The animals are not right because they have sentiment. They understand. They can feel it. They know. They know. Plants are okay because they don't know. So you're not all for all living things, right? You're not for plant life because you don't give a fuck about those other plants. Right? You don't give a shit about any of the plants except fucking... Well, you don't give a shit about plants at all because you fucking eat them. You don't give a fuck. Like, you literally don't give a shit about plants. You're not about plant life. You're about not killing animals, right? Plant life would be like, I'm into plants. I have fucking 20 plants on my deck. I have fucking plants in my house. I keep them all alive. I named them all. To me, that's plant life. All right? To me, if you're really all about plants, right? Not just eating plants, plant life, you'd be somebody with a green thumb. You have a garden, have a farm, shit like that. But it's this weird thing where I think vegans forget that if we don't consume calories from living things, and none of you vegans out there can argue with this. I don't give a shit what you say. You can make fun of me. You can poke fun of me. You can call me names. It doesn't matter. You cannot live without putting something in your body that has a kilocalorie in it, macros in it, that came from something alive. Whether it's a plant or an animal, it doesn't matter. It has to go in your body or you fucking die. I didn't see anybody bitching about that or complaining about that, but they don't even realize that. They don't even realize that they're still consuming live energy from somewhere. But because the sentiment is the plant has no sentiment, it doesn't understand what's happening, it's okay to do that and save the animals. Well, what if there was a way that the animals wouldn't have any fucking clue that happened either? I mean, zero clue. No pain, no knowledge, no nothing, no fear, nothing. They just fucking, life ceased to exist like that. Would that change that? No, because it's not really about the suffering of the cow. It's not really about the suffering of the animals. What it is about is the people that love those animals because they're cute, because they love them, don't want to see that happen. Okay, it's about the human. It's not about the animal. These vegans, I'm saying all vegans, I'm saying many vegans that I have talked to are all about the animals. It's not about whether that animal's hurt or anything. It's about whether or not that human feels bad for that animal because of what's happening. If we found a way that animals would not be hurt and they could be killed to be eaten with zero pain or knowledge that it's even happening, and they're kept in a place that it's like the Ritz-Carlton for cows, right? And they're raised like that, and they have like the best fucking life. They have like their cow life, like they're in a fucking mansion, they're balling out of control, and then the time comes and their life ends. That would be giving a cow a way better fucking life than it has out in the fucking pasture or out in the fucking wild, right? You would give it a better life. It wouldn't even know it was going to be fucking killed. And that would be something completely different than what we see here, right? But that wouldn't be good enough because you're still killing something that those vegans think are cute. Those vegans want as a pet. Those vegans want the vegans in the fucking, you love the vegans that go to the zoo. The fuck? You're looking at these animals that are locked up in a fucking zoo in cages out of their natural habitat. And you vegans go to the fuck, not all vegans, you go to the fucking zoo? What the fuck? Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I've seen one circus in my entire life. Now, I'm not a vegan. One circus. I'm 44. I've been in the circus once. I saw the tigers, which I thought would be the coolest thing. This tiger came out of the fucking cage, skin and bones. The dude was whipping things around it and shit. It was fucking scared. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I fucking left. I'm like, I'm done. I haven't eaten pork in 7-8 years because of a situation that I had with a pig. And I was playing with this pig, and I realized it was a lot like my dog, which was an English bulldog at the time. And I said, you know what? I correlate that pig to my English bulldog, therefore I can no longer eat it. I didn't go off about fucking half this crazy cockeyed shit that fucking vegans do. I just made a decision based on myself and what I felt at the time, and didn't put myself inside the box, which I'm sorry, many vegans fall off track. They absolutely do wind up eating fucking meat. I guarantee you half of these fucking vegans now, that are more than half, that are all about plant life, vegan life. This is a big fad that's taking place. They're arguing. They like to make fun of people. They're fucking, a lot of them are not nice people. I'm telling you right now. They're mean as fuck. They're nice to the animals. They're mean as fuck to people. That's just a fucking side note. That's my personal experience that I've seen, all right? Many of these vegans are fucking very, very, very pissy about just about everything because they know that people look at them in general and kind of judge them for the way that they act, even though they're not acting like that. Other vegans act a certain way. They know they're getting judged for it, which is not right too. But the bottom line is, we could all coexist together if vegans just did their thing and stopped pushing things on other people. That's the whole point of my entire thing. If you want to be vegan, I have zero problem with that. I don't give a fuck. Vegan yourself, crazy. I hope to God you can stick to it for the rest of your life. I would fucking be like, that is awesome. You have willpower. You stood up for something you believe in. Fucking, I'll shake your hand and be like, that's fucking awesome. But I don't like how people push. You'll never see meat eaters doing stuff where we're going to push meat on everybody. We're going to go to a vegan assembly and fucking push it on them. We're going to go to a vegan expo and fucking... You got vegans that stand in front of restaurants and try to force people not to go in those restaurants. Stop forcing your opinion on people. Stop forcing people to try to do things your way. Not only is it not right, but you're deterring people from even looking at the vegan lifestyle by trying to push them in that direction. You want to give them some real insight? Then make your videos on YouTube and stuff about experiences like I had. Hey, I went and fucking I ate, I used to eat pork, I used to eat bacon, I used to eat ham and all that shit. I had that experience with this pig, and this pig sitting next to my English bulldog, they looked alike, they sounded alike, they played alike. I made that jump and said, hey, this is not for me. Right? Now there may be a time in the future where I look at cows and I say, fuck, that cow is so cute. It reminds me of XYZ. Fuck, I can no longer eat that. There may be a time where I look at a fish and I go, fuck, that fish reminds me of a goldfish I had when I was a kid, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But I don't put myself in a box to say I'm only a carnivore, I'm only a fucking a vegan, I'm only a fucking, omnivore. I'm not putting myself in anywhere. I put myself to where I decide based on what I want and feel, not what a vegan tells me, not what a carnivore tells me, not what an omnivore tells me. I do what I feel, and I think that's a lot of the thing is very quickly, most people in general love animals. Most people that I know that have dogs, have cats, have snakes, whatever, they like animals usually better than people, right? Doesn't make them vegan, but they like animals better than they like people. Now, they could easily say, I could understand that vegan lifestyle. I definitely love my dog more than I love other people. Now, left to their own constraints and not forced with veganism being shoved down their throat every fucking day from all these different sources and all this bullshit, meaning like we have to shift everybody to a vegan diet of the whole world so that way we're all going to live. Like, you can't force people to do shit. You just can't. And the fact that you're trying to force them is making them go in the opposite way. Like, a lot of times, I'm sorry, but you're having the reverse effect that you're actually trying to have. You're pushing so hard, you're pushing them away. And then we have this documentary like Game Changers. Even I watched it and went, wow, like that's some fucking impressive shit. The more I researched, the more I found out a lot of that shit was complete fucking bullshit. You want real? Put up a fucking, a documentary that actually just has real stuff. Real people going through real things. Not this guy claiming that he did the battle ropes for an hour straight. Listen, let's get fucking real, people. If you've ever done battle ropes, you know how hard that shit is. You maybe do 2 minutes, 3 minutes intense enough. Even at a low intensity, I couldn't see anybody doing that thing 20, 30 minutes. But doing it a fucking hour and feeling like you could do it for the whole fucking day and it didn't even bother him, like he just stopped because he was getting bored from doing it for an hour, that is a sensationalized fucking story right there, okay? And saying that veganism helped him do it, I don't know any fucking human being on the planet, whether they're vegan, steroids, not, doesn't matter what, that could do those battle ropes for a fucking hour with no problem and act like it was fucking no big deal. I've never seen anything like that. I've asked everybody since fucking that documentary came out, have you ever seen an athlete, a high-level athlete, an Olympic athlete, a professional athlete, anyone, even a fucking, the double Dutch fucking people that do the fucking jump rope, any of those motherfuckers, have you ever seen anybody do battle ropes for an hour? They're like, what? Like, no, why? And I explained it to them, like, there's no fucking way. Like, and there was no video of the guy doing it. There was a video of him doing a little bit of it. It was like 20 seconds of it that they fucking edited in. Like, if that guy wants to prove that he really did the battle ropes for an hour, he needs to get on fucking YouTube, film 60 minutes straight of him doing those fucking things, just like he said. Then maybe people would believe it. The problem is there's so many claims that can't be backed up. It's only backed up by words. They're not backed up by actions. So how the fuck do you expect people to I mean, people that are not intelligent are going to look at it and go, oh my God, I can become fucking Superman. All I got to do is eat plants. Like, maybe some people that'll work for it. Maybe some it won't. But the bottom line is, I think that vegans, in general, the ones that I've known, their intentions are good. It's not like they have ill intentions. They have good intentions. And then, especially when they start, they have good intentions. And then they get wrapped up in this fucking hysteria. They get wrapped up in the cult-like fucking lifestyle that is veganism. And I've watched some of my close friends do it. And I'm like, cool, awesome for you. I'll go to vegan restaurants with them. I mean, last fucking January, I went to a vegan restaurant with my boy PJ out in LA. Had a fucking great meal. It was unbelievable. I was like, this is fucking fantastic, right? But I'm not going to say that I'm never going to have anything but this food again ever in my whole life, right? Like, that's just not, you know, and I'm sorry, but let's face facts, guys. There are very few things that you can say that you will stick to for the rest of your life, especially these young people out there in their 20s, 30s, thinking that you're going to be 80 years old still doing the vegan thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be people out there that can do it. But those numbers will dwindle over time to where half the people would never say a fucking word. They'll just go back to eating fucking meat and never say a fucking word. You'll never hear from them because they're worried about getting fucking chastised, get their fucking balls busted. And rightfully they should, because they're going to, right? I mean, I put out this video about, you know, this girl, Megan Fox. So who gives a fuck about Megan Fox? And her husband with these kids trying to explain to them that the plants have thoughts and feelings, so that way there we shouldn't kill them. But then these animals, we don't kill them because they have thoughts and feelings. I mean, that's the biggest hypocritical thing I've ever heard. Like, how do you and they're kids, right? How the fuck these kids are going to grow up and say one thing, and someone else is going to be like, yeah, but animals, yeah, they have thoughts and feelings, so these plants. So how the fuck do you justify that? And the kid's going to be one of those people that fucking just fire back at the kid or punch him in the fucking face at school because he doesn't have an answer, because there is no real answer. Sentiment is not a real answer. If you can tell me that shooting that cow in the back of the head without him even knowing, end his life with zero pain is the same thing as eating that fucking broccoli, then I could say, okay, we're on the same fucking page. Okay? But the bottom line is, when you say it's two different things and it's the exact same fucking thing because your narrative dictates you want it to be true, there's a lot of stuff out there that's not true that you want to be true. There's a lot of stuff out there that's not true that I want to be true. But that doesn't make it true. And it doesn't make it something that we should all try to convert everybody else in the whole fucking world to our beliefs. I mean, it's the same thing with religions. There are people out there trying to convert people into religions. Stop. Leave people the fuck alone. There are people out there trying to convert people into being vegans. There are people trying to convert vegans into carnivores. Stop. Leave everybody the fuck alone. Do your thing on your page, right? Which is what I do here. I don't go on other people's pages. I don't go on other people's fucking social media and argue with them. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck. That's their shit. I do my shit on my shit. Other people do their shit on their shit. And that's all there is to it. But the bottom line is, guys, if you feel a certain way and someone else doesn't, why argue? Why are you going to argue? That person doesn't like your point of view. That person will not see it. They can comprehend it, but they can't see it. Why are you going to fight that? Why would you waste that energy doing that? It makes zero fucking sense. You bring all kinds of negativity back to the vegan lifestyle because of the outbursts that you have, and you cause more people to get more frustrated with you, that when it came time to maybe do a vegan diet, like, I'm not going to be one of those fucking insane people. That's what they look at it like. Don't you want to reverse that? Like, my friends that are vegan, they're not pushing anything. Like, and what happens is we go out and sit down and eat, and I start asking them questions. Like, oh, so how do you combine these foods like that? You do? What are you getting? I don't have the same thing if fucking cheese have it. All right, I'll just have the same thing. That's cool. And that's it. There's no pressure. There's no pushing. There's no forcing. There's no degrading somebody. There's questions and answers and getting along, because it's like, my vegan friends are not going to say, we're not going to a restaurant if you're going to have a fucking hamburger. I don't eat hamburgers really much anyways, except for my cheat day, but they don't say that. They go, that's your decision, this is my decision, and we all live in peace and harmony. We don't fucking argue about it. But then the internet comes and gives everybody a voice, whether they fucking should have one or not. We all have voices, we all have opinions, and they're all out there. Opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. But the bottom line is, just because your opinion, you see one thing, one way, doesn't mean everybody has to see it your fucking way. It doesn't mean you can argue your way into people getting to believe you. That's all there is to it. My goal is to make people think. My goal is to make vegans think, carnivores think, herbivores think, omnivores think, fishy people think, bird people think, Santa Claus think, Easter Bunny. I want them all to think all the time for their own self, and not be wrapped up in the propaganda by the meat community, by the vegan community, by the fucking car companies, whatever. Think for yourself. A lot of this stuff starts to fade away, and a lot of shit tends to not mean very much when you start thinking for yourself. But if you sit there and you're forced into something over and over again, two things are going to happen. You're going to start doing that and then regret it later, or you're going to rebel against it. Bottom line is, people need to make choices for themselves. And vegans, I'm sorry, but this has been going on for fucking decades. Stop trying to force people to see your way. Live your lifestyle, lead by example, and let people make their own decisions on what they want to fucking do. BioStrength@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com is a blog. It's to let people do what they want, bicep, and we are out.